Rudy Giuliani has received a 30-day extension for which he has to respond to a motion asking Judge Beryl Howell to hold him in contempt for continuing to spread lies about the two former Georgia election workers that he defamed, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Now, the 30-day extension came with a warning, because the judge also explained to Rudy Giuliani that first and foremost, any other request for an extension is going to be met with a lot of skepticism. You've had plenty of time. You know how the law works. You were a prosecutor. You were a lawyer. You know how these things go. So if you ask me for another extension, I'm going to get pissed. Second, if I do end up holding you in contempt, you do realize you could go to jail. The judge, again, U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell, literally threatened to throw Rudy Giuliani in jail for continuing to defame the women who he already owes $148 million for defaming them in the past. So let me give you some of the backstory in case you haven't been following this story as closely and as happily as I have. Here's what's going on. Rudy Giuliani continues to make media appearances, continues to host his podcast, where in the last few months he has continued his big lie that Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss somehow flipped the election in 2020 in the state of Georgia, or that they had some kind of hand in it, which are the same comments, by the way, that he had made after the 2020 election that got him sued for defamation that caused him to lose everything he's ever had in his life. So, because he keeps telling these lies, even though there was a court order saying you can't talk about these women anymore, that was part of the verdict there, he kept doing it. So Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss had their lawyers go back to the judge and file a motion asking for Giuliani to be held in contempt of court, because there was a court order. You can't talk about these women. You're still talking about these women, still lying about them. So he violated the court order, judge. Hold him in contempt. And the judge said, okay, thank you. I have your motion here. Now, this is the way the law works. Giuliani, you and your lawyers, you have to file a motion in response. And then, oopsie-doo, wouldn't you know it, Rudy Giuliani's lawyers were like, we're out. We're done. We're not going to do this. So Giuliani had gone in front of the judge about a week or two ago, and he told the judge, he's like, yeah, the lawyers that actually represented me in this case, they weren't really my lawyers. They were just kind of helping me with it, but they're not actually my official counsel. I technically don't have lawyers. And I never really did, even though I clearly did. That was the argument he made in front of the judge. And the judge bought it. Like, that's what shocked me about this whole thing, is that Judge Beryl Howell was like, okay, I'll give you 30 days, find a lawyer, file a response. That was ridiculous. That shouldn't have happened. That absolutely should not have happened. Giuliani has had more than enough time to get lawyers. He doesn't need another 30 days. I mean, he's a lawyer himself. Of course, he can't represent himself in this case because he did lose his law license, but you know what I mean. He knows lawyers. Why could his buddies not help him out with this case when they helped him out with it originally? The judge shouldn't have bought it. And that really angers me that the judge did do that. I do like that she threatened him with prison and reminded him that that is certainly an option she could take. But I think it's time to take that option. I think it's time to make that choice. Giuliani has been resistant this entire time. He hasn't turned over the property that he was supposed to turn over, at least not all of it. That got him in trouble. Like, he just keeps getting in trouble with the same judge, and the judge is just like, oh, you darn guy, have more time. No. The time for playing nice is over. Giuliani is not playing by the rules. He is clearly violating the court order. It's time to make that threat of jail a reality. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.